In a bell tower in Modena, Italy, there is a wooden bucket in a display case. It is old, plain, and completely unremarkable, except that it is a war trophy from a war between two cities in which 2,000 people died, a war that history remembers with a completely straight face as the War of the Bucket. This is Oops History, true stories that sound fake. Today, how a bucket got a body count. First, you need to understand Italy in the early 1300s, and the best way to understand it is there was no Italy. There was a boot-shaped landmass covered in independent city-states that all hated each other professionally. Florence, Bologna, Modena, dozens more, each with its own army, its own money, its own grudges, all crammed together like roommates who have stopped speaking but share one kitchen. And overlaid on all of it was one giant rivalry that split the entire peninsula into two fan bases. Team 1, the Guelphs, who backed the Pope. Team 2, the Ghibellines, who backed the Holy Roman Emperor. What did those teams actually stand for? By 1325, honestly, almost nothing. The labels had been passed down for generations, and cities stayed loyal to their team the way people stay loyal to a football club, through pure inherited spite. In one corner, Bologna, Team Guelph, big, wealthy, home to the oldest university in Europe. Population and army, huge. Self-image, even huger. In the other corner, 30 miles away, Modena, Team Ghibelline, smaller, poorer, and absolutely done with Bologna's attitude. These two had been raiding each other's borders, burning each other's farms, and excommunicating each other's leaders for decades. The Pope had literally excommunicated Modena's ruler, meaning that, spiritually speaking, Modena was already playing with nothing to lose. Through 1325, the rivalry got hot. Bologna raided Modenese territory. Modena, with inside help, grabbed a key Bolognese fortress, a genuine humiliation. Bologna answered by burning crops and villages. Prisoners were taken, insults were exchanged at a diplomatic level, which in medieval Italy was an art form. By autumn, both cities wanted a real fight, and they got one. In November 1325, Bologna marched out with an army chroniclers put at around 30,000 foot soldiers and 2,000 cavalry, enormous for the era. Modena scraped together about 7,000, stiffened with some professional German cavalry lent by the emperor's side. On paper, this is a 4-to-1 massacre. Bologna packed for a victory parade. The armies met at a place called Zappolino in the hills on the border on the 15th of November. And here's where paper meets reality. Numbers win sieges, but discipline wins field battles. The Modenese force was smaller, meaner, and better led. The battle lasted about 2 hours. 2 hours! Medieval battles could grind on all day, but the Modenese and their heavy cavalry cracked the Bolognese line, and 30,000 men discovered simultaneously that they would rather be somewhere else. The retreat turned into a stampede. The Modenese chased the Bolognese army all the way back to the gates of Bologna itself. A running, panicked flight across the entire border region. Around 2,000 men died in that battle en route on a day that had started with Bologna outnumbering their enemy 4-to-1. And then Modena went full victory lap. Outside Bologna's walls, they didn't besiege the city. They mocked it. They staged races and games under the walls, in full view of the defenders, the medieval equivalent of dancing in the end zone. They wrecked a critical canal sluice gate on their way home, kneecapping Bologna's water infrastructure. And, according to the story that gave this war its name, they took a souvenir. A bucket from a public well, possibly literally just the first thing a soldier grabbed. They carried it home to Modena and displayed it like the Holy Grail, proof that they had walked up to their giant neighbor's front door, slapped them, and taken the office stationery. Now, honesty corner. The romantic legend says the war started because Modenese soldiers stole the bucket and Bologna declared war to get it back. Historians will tell you the causation runs the other way. The war happened because of the fortress, the raids, the excommunication, the century of feuding, and the bucket was looted at the end as a trophy. But here's the thing, the correction barely helps. 2,000 people died over a bucket, and 2,000 people died over decades of accumulated pettiness, and the bucket was the receipt, are the same level of embarrassing for the human species. And the aftermath seals it. After all that blood, the peace terms changed. Essentially nothing. Borders, roughly where they started. The fortress question got resolved by diplomacy anyway. The Pope eventually patched things up with Modena's rulers. 2,000 men died for a scoreline, and the only permanent, tangible outcome of the